As we have said that already there were 14 such summits conducted where COP14 was done with. Out of this COP14, out of 14 summits, COP5, which is the extra summit, means what? It's a additional summit that took place, and COP10 are very important. Why? Because these two had moved further from convention to protocol. Then, what's the difference between the convention and the protocol? Conventions are nothing but these are the meeting places where they encourages the countries to do certain work or to the preservation and conservation of biodiversity. They simply encourages the countries, but whereas the protocols commits the countries to do so. This is a mandatory condition. The conventions are simply the encouraging factor. This is the difference between the convention and the protocol. What the convention says, conventions encourages the countries to do a particular action, whereas the protocol commits the countries to do that action. Is a mandatory condition. This means what is a binding agreement. Once the countries sign this protocol, means what? Where they ratifies, when the countries ratifies this protocol, then the countries are binding, they are bounded to the rules and regulations. Means what? We are coming across two ratification. One is the CBD. CBD is a umbrella organization. Suppose if this is the CBD, within the CBD there are two such protocols. One, the Cartagena Protocol. The next one is called as Nagoya Protocol. This is the Cartagena Protocol. The next one is called as the Nagoya Protocol. The Cartagena and the Nagoya Protocol. When you are talking about these two protocols, one is the Cartagena Protocol and the another one the Nagoya Protocol. The ratification is necessary for CBD. If a country, say India initially should be a member to the CBD. For this one, a ratification is required. The moment whenever the new framework is being drawn for certain rules and regulations for this for the conservation of the biodiversity under the new protocol, again the Indian government needs to ratify this one. Then only this protocol is being binding on the country called as India. If the India is ratified for this CBD and India has not ratified this Cartagena, then the rules and regulations of this Cartagena protocol will not be binding on this country. This is the ratification process. For everything there is a ratification process. Now let us move to the two protocols. What the two protocols talks about? One, the Cartagena Protocol, another one is called as Nagoya Protocol. The Cartagena Protocol. What is Cartagena? Cartagena is the important city in the country called as Colombia, South America. The Cartagena Protocol, it is regarding the LMOs. Very, very important. What do you mean by LMOs? It is an international treaty governing the movements of living modified organism. What do you mean by living modified organism? In the modern biotechnology, there is a concept called as genetical engineering. What is genetical engineering? The genetical engineering produces such products which are called as GM products. Nothing but genetically modified products. Whenever the organism, means what, maybe a plant or the animal is modified genetically, means what, the manipulation has taken place at the gene level. When the genetical modification is being done, that particular species, maybe a plant species, maybe the animal species, behave in a indifferent fashion. when such products are being transported, nothing but movement from one country to another country, then the importing country may be adversely affected, and there won't be any effect on the exporting country. Normally, who will be the exporting countries? Those countries which are very good in the genetical engineering techniques. Obviously, they are developed countries. Now, the Cartagena Protocol came into existence to protect the interest of importing country, nothing but developing countries. How the interests of the developing countries are being protected? These are protected through the important mechanisms like AIA and Biosafety Clearinghouse. What are these Biosafety Clearinghouse and the AIA? Let us see these two concepts. As the Cartagena Protocol assists the importing country. Now, see here, this importing country. Let me give an example. Say there is a country called as USA, which has developed some products, maybe very important seeds, maybe cotton seeds, where the best example called as BT cotton. What is this BT cotton? BT cotton is nothing but Bacillus thuringiensis cotton. What is this Bacillus thuringiensis? Bacillus thuringiensis is a bacteria. Is a bacteria means what it is? Animal, this is plant. When a gene from the bacteria is being extracted and inserted in the plant, now this particular seed is called as genetically modified seed. These genetically modified seeds are manufactured by the developed world, where they are exported to the developing countries or maybe underdeveloped countries like India. When India orders some 100 tons of genetically modified BT cotton seeds, then what the interest of India and how the interest of India has been protected by the Cartagena Protocol, where it talks about advanced informed agreement, is called as AIA. This is one procedure. The next one is called as the Biosafety Clearinghouse. These are the two very important procedures with which the interest of the importing countries are being protected by the Cartagena Protocol. Now, this very GM crop becomes LMO. It is a living modified organism. The name itself denotes that the organism is living and got modified. Modified at what level? At the genetical level. When such products are being exported from one country to another country because of changes in the geographical condition, the climatic conditions, the soil conditions, and many factors, this very LMO may be giving positive result or maybe the negative result. Thinking that the LMOs gives the positive results, the developing countries places orders to the developed countries to export those products. Whenever such a order is being placed, then before going to place such orders, what the importing country needs to do, it has to come across the procedure called as AIA, means what? Advanced information agreement. Who has to inform in advance to whom? It is the developed countries. Nothing but the exporter needs to inform how the product is being manufactured, what are the repercussions when the conditions are different to the importing country. All the needs to be written, and it is been labeled very clearly what type of manipulation was done, which gene is being removed, what are the repercussions if something goes wrong, it takes place. All this needs to be written in an agreement and needs to be given to the importing country, so that the importing country will be knowing all the consequences. After knowing all the consequences, if the product is being imported, even if something goes wrong, this country will be in a position to safeguard its country. This is what the advanced information agreement. The next one is called as biosafety clearing house. The name itself suggests that it's a clearing house. It helps the countries exchange scientific, technical, environmental, and legal information about the living modified organisms. Whenever this very house called as the clearing house gives the permission for the export of LMOs, then only such LMOs will be transported from developed countries to the developing countries. In this process, what type of rights are there for the countries? Especially the importing country, what type of rights will be there for the importing countries? The first type of right is, if the importing country don't want to accept such imports, they will inform the world community through biosafety clearing house. Biosafety clearing house. All the commodities which may contain LMOs should be clearly labeled by the exporters. This is a very important point in the Cartagena Protocol, where all the products which are being exported needs to be clearly labeled. Then the next point is, the exporter of such commodities must inform the importing countries in advance the shipment which contains LMOs, and the importer must authorize such shipment. If the authorization is not there, there is no question of dumping the goods in the importing countries. Then the next point is, the importing country has both opportunity and the capacity to assess the risk involving in the modern biotechnology. These are the very important significant points needs to be remembered in the Cartagena Protocol. The Nagoya Protocol. The next protocol is Nagoya Protocol. Nagoya is an important city in the Japan, in the state of Aichi. Aichi. The name of the country is called as Japan. The name of the state is called as Aichi, and the city is Nagoya. Just like India, the name of the state may be Karnataka, and the city is Bangalore. Where the convention took place, it took place in the city called as Nagoya of Japan. In the province, where the province that is called as prefecture in the Japan is called as Aichi prefecture. This Nagoya protocol is on ABS. What is the abbreviation for this one? The Nagoya Protocol is talking about ABS, nothing but access and benefit sharing. To whom it is accessing and for whom it is benefiting, and where the need is to be shared. Let us see in detail the Nagoya Protocol. The Nagoya Protocol is on access to genetic resources and the fair and equitable sharing of benefits arising from the utilization of the genetical resources. What that means? before going to explain what the complete definition of this one, let me give one more very factual information. This CBD, nothing but the Nagoya Protocol, adapted in the year 2010 at Nagoya, Japan, came into existence on 12th October 2014. Right from 2014 onwards, Nagoya Protocol came into existence. What is the importance of this Nagoya Protocol? Understand the three very important things. What are the three important things? The literature is being given in a very technical language. Let us understand in a very simpler terms. Now, what is this ABS and what the three elements that are included in the Nagoya Protocol? Suppose if there is a tree and from this tree a medicine is being manufactured. A medicine is being manufactured by a researcher. Now the people who are protecting this nature, the people who are protecting this nature, this tree specifically, from times immemorial, will not be considered by the researcher, since the researcher knows only the formula how to manufacture from the tree a medicine and will be approved by the government. Thereby these people will make this very medicine into a commercial use with the help of the government, and they will be getting more prosperity. Means what? The medicine is being manufactured at 100 rupees and it will be sold to the market at 1000 rupees, and they will be gaining abnormal profits at the cost of these local people. The local people are not getting anything. Till 2014 it was a scenario. Now what the Nagoya Protocol talks about, it comes to the rescue of those people who are protecting the genetical resource. Now this becomes the genetical resource. The very product called as tree, it becomes the genetical resource. Whoever is protecting the genetical resource, now this researcher needs to give something to the people in the form of share in the profits. It may be in the share in the profit, or a part of what is being collected. Means what? A part of the medicine. Such a development of modern medicine with the help of traditional knowledge, where it is called as TK, with the access of the information by the local communities to the scientific community, is called as bioprospecting. The Nagoya Protocol saves the developing countries from foreign illegitimate bioprospecting. Means what? Till this point of time, the local communities are not being given their due share, but now Nagoya Protocol is giving the due share for protecting the genetical resources. In the earlier times, such bioprospectors would come, do certain research, and develop a drug and got patented and will be sold in the market at very high price without giving any benefit to the country from which the natural genetical resource is being sourced. But now the Nagoya Protocol is legally binding agreement to all the signatories, and it is protecting the interest of local communities and their traditional knowledge. Now let us understand these two terms. One is called as bioprospecting, and the one is called as biopiracy. What do you mean by bioprospecting? Suppose a person, a guy, collects and use certain biological knowledge of a particular tree. This guy collects and uses the biological knowledge of a particular people. These are the people, the local people, where they are protecting this very important tree, and at the same time these people from the times immemorial are having the knowledge about the tree, where they will be using for certain diseases or maybe certain wounds. That knowledge is called as TK. These local people are using this very tree for certain medicated facilities. Such knowledge is called as TK, nothing but traditional knowledge. Now, this fellow, in the name of research, he came in contact with these people. They came to know about the traditional knowledge of these people and tested this tree and manufactured a modern medicine, and has uh, has marketed that product on an industrial scale, and thereby attained great profits. This is what called as bioprospecting. Means what? Pros- the prosperous is there because of use of biological knowledge. This is what called as bioprospecting. And the subsequent analysis, see the term, the subsequent analysis of the subsequent analysis, subsequent analysis the subsequent analysis of this knowledge the subsequent analysis of this knowledge is called as biodiscovery. Means what? These local people are using these particular tree leaves only for some purposes, maybe healing of the wound, but this fellow researcher has came to know about the wound curing capacity of the leaves, and he manufactured some more enhanced material which is useful for maybe curing cancer. Such a development is called as biodiscovery. Had this traditional knowledge is not given to this researcher, there is no question of this biodiscovery. If all these things are happening with the knowledge of the people, the local people, and the government, where it is called as bioprospecting. If the same activity takes place in a unauthorized manner, in a unauthorized access to the information, such a unauthorized access to the information and obtaining the information through through deception or otherwise exploitative behavior by researchers, such a theft of traditional knowledge is called as biopiracy. These are the two very important terms that comes in the Nagoya Protocol. The Nagoya Protocol ends up with a strategic plan with 20 targets called as Aichi targets. What is Aichi? Aichi is the prefecture, nothing but the state in which the Nagoya city is there. These are the targets called as Aichi targets, where there are some 20 Aichi targets. All these 20 Aichi targets are clubbed into 5 groups, where they are called as goals, like goal A, goal B, goal C, goal D, and goal E. What are those goals? The first one is called as to address the underlying causes of biodiversity loss by maintaining the biodiversity across government and society. This is the first goal. The second goal is to reduce the direct pressure on biodiversity and promote the sustainable use of biodiversity. The third goal is called as goal C is to improve the status of biodiversity by safeguarding ecosystem diversity, species diversity and genetic diversity. Goal D is to enhance the benefits to all from biodiversity and ecosystem services. Do you remember the ecosystem services? There are four services which are given in the Millennium Ecosystem Assessment Report in the year 2005. There are four such ecosystem services like provisioning services, regulatory services, cultural services, and the supportive services, where we have discussed in some other video. Then the last one is called as goal E, is called as enhanced implementation through participatory planning. Participatory planning, knowledge management, and capacity building. These are the key terms which are there in the Nagoya Protocol. They are the participatory planning, knowledge management, and the capacity building. These are the five goals which have been enlisted in the Aichi targets. Let us see the 20 goals that are present there, or 20 targets that are given in the Aichi. See, these are the 20 targets. The first and foremost is called as understand values. What do you mean by understanding value? Understanding the values of the biodiversity. The biodiversity values needs to be understood. Then the next one is called as the mainstreaming of the biodiversity. Then the incentives needs to be addressed to whom the incentives needs to be given, and the incentives has to be given. Till this point of time there were no such incentives given to the local communities who are protecting the biodiversity. Then the sustainable production means what? Not utilizing the genetical resources in a haphazard manner. You need to utilize the genetic resources in a very sustainable manner. Then you need to reduce the loss rate. Then sustainable fisheries needs to be, because the report, there is a report called as IPBES. What this IPB is? Intergovernmental Science Policy Platform for Biodiversity and Ecosystem Services. It says that the fishes that are present in the world fishing grounds are being exploited and overfished. How much fishes are being overfished? 90% of the fishes are being overfished. Whether there is a requirement or not, the people are not acting according to the demand. They were simply extracting or fishing the fishes. This is what called as overfishing. Now sustainable fisheries has become one of the target. Then manage within the limits, reduction of pollution, reduction of the invasive alien species. What do you mean by invasive alien species? The species which are not native to the habitat, where they are being brought from some other habitat. Because of this one, the invasive species is highly robust and it will be taking all the food of the native species, and thereby the native species will be at stake. Minimize the reef loss, the coral reef loss of the world. Then the protected areas, the prevent to prevent the extinction, the conserve the gene pool. Means what? To conserve the genetical resource, to restore the ecosystem is the 14th IG target. Enhance resilience. What do you mean by resilience? This is nothing but the coping capacity of the nature. Whenever something is left free, or if at all you are not doing any activity, then the nature itself will be replenishing. Whenever the man is involving and he is interfering the work of the nature, then the nature keep on gets degrades. This is what the resilience capacity. What is the resilience capacity? Nothing but the coping capacity of the nature that needs to be enhanced. Means what? The people needs to live in the ecological type of lifestyle. Then implementation of the Nagoya Protocol. Then revise NBS APs. What is this NBS APs? Nothing but National Biodiversity State Action Plans. These state action plans needs to be revised timely according to the requirements. Then respect and conserve TK. Very, very important one is called as we need to give respect and we need to conserve the traditional knowledge. Then improve the knowledge, both the traditional knowledge as well as the scientific knowledge. Then mobilize the resources. These are the 20 Aichi targets that are being given under the Nagoya. After seeing the Convention on Biodiversity, let us come to the Indian scenario. The Convention on Biodiversity and India. Since India is a signatory for CBD, what type of developments it brought in the domestic country? Whenever you are seeing the introduction to the India is having rich biodiversity. Though the land, the geographical region is very less, just it occupies 2.4% of the world's geographical region. It holds 7 to 8% of the Earth's total biodiversity, and India is one of the very largest mega diverse country. There are altogether 18 such mega diverse countries, and India is one of such 18 mega diverse countries. These 18 mega diverse countries, they account for 60 to 70% of the world's biodiversity. The group of these 18 mega diverse countries are called as like-minded mega diverse countries, called as LMMCs. The government of India, as it is a signatory for CBD, it it enacted an act called as Biodiversity Act, which is popularly called as BDA 2002. Way back in the 2002 itself, an act was enacted called as Biodiversity Act to protect the India's biodiversity and the knowledge that is associated with this biodiversity, also to protect the biopiracy, to check the biopiracy and bioprospecting. This Biodiversity Act 2002 has got a structure at three levels: one national level, state level, and the local level. What are the three types? What is the three type structure of this Biodiversity Act 2002? Let us see in detail in the next slide.